Welcome to the RG Sports Talk Show with me, JONAH. We're going to talk about the NBA from last Sunday. And we have 4 games here. I had to redo this one. I do apologize. I goofed up on it, and it was like something that we did. Alright, game 1 was the Heat versus the Magic, Orlando Magic. And it was 93 to 88. And they did a very good game. Miami could have won this one. It was a very good hands down. Not as much as they could have done. I mean, that was something they could have done. Very interesting. But the Magic came out on top, barely, to about almost 5-6 points. The Heat could have won. They could have done a couple of free throws, a couple of 3-point shooters, anything else in between there. The second game here would be the 76ers and Philly 76ers and the Pistons. And 76ers won their game 100 to 93. And that wasn't too hard of a game to follow. That was another close game. To that degree, as much as they can get. Then you got the New York Knicks and which is now the Boston Knicks, but I don't know if they changed that name. I gotta redo that research. And the Spurs won against the Knicks 49 to 70, and that was not too bad of a game there. And the last game I didn't write down, I had to redo the video here, was the Rockets and the Spurs. The Spurs won 102, and the Rockets had scored 89, so they were down by at least a couple points just to make it a tie game. So each of these teams did pretty good today, and they did pretty good. It's getting close to where that is going to be a challenge for any team in the NBA right now. I mean, Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics, you got to think, where would these teams go ahead and make a move on it where they can be able to make that chance? And with the NBA draft coming up, these teams have got to buckle down and try to figure out how many wins do they need left over to make the playoffs to where, yeah, the NBA draft was already done and dealt with, I would say the most teams would be going, but I would say the 76ers, Philadelphia 76ers, and the Miami Heat might go at it, in the playoffs, if they can get that Division 1. Yeah, there is some type of detailing if the division does win that. There's no guarantee where that would go. I mean, there's something kind of peculiar about that. You gotta think, where does these teams go? I mean, you got the Knicks, you got the Bostons, you got the Knicks, you got quite a bit of both the New York teams going at it. You got the Spurs going at it. You got Chicago Bulls, the Hornets. You got a lot of teams going into this where they're going to make a lot of potential trades. They're going to make a potential deal during the free agency. So apparently they're doing pretty good right now in scoring for basketball games. I almost said baseball, but basketball games, they're going to be doing it. This is the first time I'm covering this. And, yeah, but I would say the most teams that are going to get the wins, I could do that another time around, get the wins, get the losses, and then try to figure out where they can do it. I might make a video on that. I might not. So there is going to be some type of ground for this. But no, I would say the Heat, the Magic, maybe the Spurs, maybe Chicago Bulls, maybe the Detroit Pistons, maybe the Hornets, maybe the Rockets, maybe a couple other teams that might make it to the playoffs. but there's no guarantee that they. But depends on if they can go to the championship. That depends. If they can score a lot of other points from 3-point shoots, 2-shooters, minus the free throws. If they get a penalty, you gotta really think. So there's a lot of teams that are still eligible to go to the playoffs. So my money is on the 76ers going. Miami Heat may be going. If they lost against the Magic, I can understand that. They still have a chance to get going for the playoffs. Orlando Magic maybe. Hornets. Buffalo Bills. Chicago Bulls. Buffalo. Maybe the Boston Celtics. Who knows? There's not. I gotta get back into the thick of things of doing basketball. I do apologize for the mix up there. So I'm trying to get back into the thick of things with basketball and baseball. But they're both in the same category. So whatever they're going to be doing, you got to really think. Could there be a chance to really look at this? The Spurs might do it. The 76ers might go ahead. Philly might win a basketball championship. The NBA championship. Finally, after so many years. Philly might be on that list too. So it might be interesting to see where would they take it. Now during the draft, which is coming up, it's going to be a little tricky. During the NBA draft, to draft some of the players. Yeah, Boston Celtics, New York Knicks, or the Brooklyn Knicks now. Both the New York teams, Philadelphia 76ers, Chicago Bulls, Orlando Magic, they might be able to make some deals, getting some good prospects in the NBA draft. But can they shoot the ball, do the free throws, do cover to cover type of thing, anything else they can get their hands on? They might do that. But the way it's looking right now, from Saturday, this is only Saturday right here. Sunday we got a lot to do. It's like you gotta think, Sunday's games, they're gonna be different, which I probably won't cover, but I might not. So guarantee with this is only the first episode of it, and it's the first time I'm covering NBA. I'm gonna have to get back into the thick of things with NBA stuff. For the most part. But the Rockets and the Pistons, I know they're going to be negotiating with getting potential prospects with the draft. If they're going to need it. The Pistons kind of beat the Rockets 122 to 89. And it's a very close game. So they're going to be the two top. I think they're going to be the two top teams. They're going to get most players if they can make a negotiation with Chicago Bulls, Boston Celtics, the Knicks, the Spurs, Phoenix Suns, anybody that can be able to make any conversion to that detail. They're going to make sure about that. I can understand that. But a lot of these teams, the Pistons, and a few other teams, they might not negotiate getting top picks. They might trade up. Now the Pistons and the Orlando Magic and a couple other good teams, the Hornets, through maybe in between the other two teams, yeah, they might be able to trade down. With the Knicks, 76ers may trade up depending on where they are in the draft, so it's going to be pretty easy for us to look at. When the draft comes, the draft comes. But I'm just saying, a lot of these teams might trade up and do what they can to really look into this. But the scores I'm seeing now for this season, minus the draft, all the way in there, minus the draft, we're not there yet. We still have a couple games to go through. This might affect the draft style, what they can be able to draft, what they can't draft. There's going to be a big, big problem. So the Heat, the Magic, the San Antonio Spurs, the Hornets, they might be able to make a deal. Despite, if they can't, they can't. So, we're going to make sure they can make that deal happen. But they got to win basketball games. They got to win basketball games. I almost said baseball. Like I said, it's been a long time since I've done NBA. This is the first time I've done it. I'm going to get back on the thick of things. Try to work on it. So, but now if you guys like NBA segment on the SRG Sports Talk Show, let me know in the comments. I'll get more of it. I'll try to get back up to speed. And go from there. So until next time, JONAH signing off for the SRG Sports Talk Show. Have a good day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And I might talk to you Monday or Tuesday. So until next time, JONAH signing off. Take care.